Hello YouTube, welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to show you how to grow cephalotus follicularis. This plant is pretty hard to grow, so I wouldn't recommend it to beginners. If you want to start growing carnivorous plants, I would recommend something else, like a cape sundew. Anyways, let's get started. This plant is carnivorous and uses these bright red traps here to attract, trap, and digest small insects. The edge of the pitcher is really slippery, so when insects go in, they can't come out, and if they try to fly out, they get tricked by these windows. The plant does this because the soil it grows in doesn't have enough minerals for it to survive. So instead, it gets its minerals from the insects. Anyways, let's get started with step 1 of growing these plants: lighting. I grow my plants in this sunny, unheated greenhouse with temperatures from 10 to 30 degrees Celsius and up to 70% humidity. I also give my plant at least 8 hours of direct sunlight a day, but these plants can easily handle up to 12 hours. I used to grow my plant under grow lights from 12 to 16 hours, but it really depends where it was previously grown. If your plant used to be grown under lights, grow it under lights. If your plant used to be grown under sunlight, grow it under sunlight. The more light you give it, the redder the pitchers become. You can see my pitchers are very red because I give it lots of sunlight. If there isn't even a tiny bit of pigment in your plant, it probably needs more light. My plant here is pretty small, but pitchers on adults can actually get up to 2.5 inches. Adult plants will also flower. I would recommend cutting flowers off because they can waste the plant's energy. Only keep the flowers if you have another different clone of the plant so you can produce seeds if you want to. When these plants get big, they'll need repotting. Keep them in a tall plastic pot. Never use ceramic. When you pot up your plants, use a mix of sand, pumice, peat moss, and perlite, or sand, perlite, pumice, and sphagnum moss. Pick off any dead leaves with tweezers because these can easily cause rot. If you see any kind of mold growing on your plant, use a sulfur-based fungicide to remove. Now for the hardest part of keeping these plants alive: watering. This is where about 90% of the people who grow these plants get wrong. Use rainwater, distilled water, or reverse osmosis water to water your plants. Measure the purity of the water by using a TDS meter. The water you use must be below 50 parts per million. You can get TDS meters online for a cheap price. But that's not all. Now for the method of watering these plants. You should never water these plants from the top. They hate water getting on the leaves and it can easily cause rot and kill them. I use the tray method. Get a suitable sized container for your pot, a capillary mat, and put it into the plastic container like I am doing here. You can also use a folded up paper towel for this, but you'll have to replace it every few months or so. Then get a mesh. This part isn't really necessary, but I do it anyways. And put the mesh above the capillary mat. These plants are very vulnerable to root rot, so too much water can easily kill them. Try to get it nice and tight in there. Now that your tray is set up, you can fill it with water. Remember to use water below 50 parts per million. The plant's roots are very sensitive to minerals. That's why you should never fertilize them either. Let the water soak in for about 30 seconds and then pour the excess out. Only leave the water that is soaked into the capillary mat. Now you have the perfect watering tray, and you can put your plant in. The water from the tray will slowly seep up the pot and provide to the plant's roots. Water them every 1 to 2 weeks. And now for the fun part and the reason people grow these: feeding. Young plants like mine don't really need much feeding, but adult plants can do with some. Put liquid fertilizer, fish food, or live insects into the pitchers. These plants primarily feed on ants. Before you feed, make sure there is liquid at the bottom of the pitcher. If there isn't, you can fill it with water. These plants don't really need feeding, and you can feed them every month or so. Feeding will boost their growth speed. These plants can also fall victim to many parasites, such as spider mites and aphids. To treat these, use a normal insecticide that kills eggs too. These plants may seem a little hard to grow at first, but after a while, you get used to it. So yeah, that's about everything you need to know about growing cephalotus follicularis. Bye for now. Please subscribe.